Hey, third graders, it is time for our next journey in math, which is going to be to start thinking about skills and tasks related to geometry, shapes. Now, today we have a learning target that has probably some words in it that we need to talk about. So let's take a look at that. We've got our learning target is I can find the perimeter, of a polygon. What? So we're going to talk about a couple of these words before we get into our lesson so that we know for sure what it is we're trying to learn and accomplish today. The first word I want to talk about with you is this word polygon. It's a funny word. Does anybody know what a polygon is? Let me give you some examples of some polygons. I bet these will sound familiar. Square, rectangle, triangle, hexagon, octagon, septagon. Maybe you've heard of these shapes. A polygon is just a shape that has straight sides. Good, because we're not going to think about finding how long something is that's windy and wavy. We're going to think about how long something is as a straight line. So our polygon is just going to be shapes with straight sides. That's all it is. Shapes with straight sides. That's what we're going to focus on today. One shape that has sides that are straight. And some examples are, like I mentioned, triangle, rectangle, hexagon, all of those that you probably have heard of before. So that leaves us with this word right here, perimeter. And before we do that, before I show you my poster that's hanging behind me, I want to ask you, what is a rim? Anybody know what a rim is? You need to think about in your mind if you could tell me what a rim is. If you think you know, say it out loud. Okay, let's check your thinking. A rim is an edge. So, for example, if I have my cup here with my tea in it from this morning that I didn't drink, so now it's cold, but oh well. But if you have a cup, the rim is the outside edge. That's the rim. So we're not thinking about this space or this space. We're thinking about if we could trace it with our finger all the way around. Now, this one's not polygon because this isn't straight, but the rim is the edge, okay? If we wanted to look at the rim of this paper, we would be looking at the rim or the outside edges. And this is a polygon. These are straight sides. So rim is the outside edge. I want you to remember that. So here we go. Perimeter. Now, I know that this is written in a very funny way, and I'm going to tell you why. Perimeter. Perimeter. The word perimeter has the word rim right in it. And that's going to help you remember what we're looking at. We're looking at the rim or the edge, the outside edge of a shape when we're looking for the perimeter. And I tried to make this look like a plus sign, and you'll see why in just a minute. So the perimeter is the distance all the way around. When we think of perimeter, we're going to think about going all the way around our shape. And in fact, when I say the word perimeter, I oftentimes will move my arm like that. Perimeter, all the way around. We're going to try to figure out how far is it all the way around a shape. All along the rim. That's what the perimeter is. Distance around. But I don't want you to just remember it as around. I want you to remember it as the distance all the way around. All the way around. the edge or rim of a shape. The edge and the rim. So we're going to look at some shapes together, and we're going to focus our eyes and our attention on the rim or the edge. And we're going to ask ourselves, how far is it to go all the way around? Not just part of the way, not just around and just a little bit of the way, all the way around. So we come back and we cover all of the sides. You can think about a perimeter as a fence. A fence. A fence goes around a space, and usually, I don't know, show me a thumbs up if you have a dog or a puppy or some sort of pet that might be outside. If you have a dog, for example, I have 2 dogs, and so when I put them in a yard with a fence, the fence has to go all the way around the yard, or the puppies can get out. So our perimeter is the distance all the way around. We have to cover all of the sides and figure out what that distance is. How far is it? So, for example, I drew this one on our anchor chart. So if we have this polygon happens to be a rectangle because it's got 2 long sides and 2 short sides. And if we wanted to find the perimeter of it, we would have to find the distance to go all the way around this yard or all the way around the edge or the rim. So we would think about, left my markers over here. We would think about how many sides are there on that polygon? Show me with your fingers. How many sides are there? There are 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. You can even put your cursor and check them off when you're looking at an image on your screen. Really touch each side to decide how many sides are there. There's 4 sides, which means really we're going to have to add up all 4 sides to find our perimeter. Sometimes I like to start my thinking by doing this, putting a space for each of the 4 sides. That way I'm sure I go all the way around my shape. All right, so if I went from here to here, that's 4. From here to here, that's 10 feet. Here to here, another 4 feet. And then from here to here, 10 more feet. So to go along the whole perimeter of this rectangle, I have to do 4 sides. 4, 10, 4, and 10. And if I add up all 4 sides that make up the edge or the rim of this polygon, I'm going to find the perimeter. Let's do it. I like to look for numbers that go together easily and friendly. So I see 10 and 10 is 20. And 4 and 4 is 8. So my perimeter is 28. But I also want to make sure I include my units. And that's because when we measure how long something is or how far something is, the distance, we are measuring in a unit. We might be measuring in small units like millimeters or centimeters. We might be measuring in inches. We might be measuring in feet. We might be measuring in yards or meters. We might be measuring in miles, but we're always measuring in some sort of unit. So when we have an answer for a perimeter question, we always include the units. Because if my answer was 10, or in this case, 28, 28 what? 28 inches, which is about like that? Or 28 miles, which would be a really long distance. So we want to show our units. So we can use our picture. This polygon was measured in feet. FT is the abbreviation for feet. So for this particular polygon, the perimeter, the distance around the edge or rim is 28 feet. That would be a complete answer, not just 28 feet. All right, let's look at a couple more examples. If you have your paper or your pencil or your board and your marker ready to go, have them out. Some of these numbers are going to be pretty simple. For some of you, you might be able to do them in your head. That's fine. You might be presented with some eventually that are going to be a little trickier. So I would practice writing them out and practice adding them up because it's a lot of numbers sometimes to keep track of. Okay. All right. So we have this polygon. I bet you know what this one's called. Triangle. It's got straight sides, 3 straight sides that all connect. So this is a triangle. That's the name of this type of polygon. And I noticed that this triangle, all of the sides are the same length. How many sides are there? Show me with your fingers. 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to give myself 3 places, 3 add-in spots. I know I need to add these 3 numbers to get my perimeter. By the way, forgot to mention, that's why I try to make that to look like a plus sign, because we're adding up all of the sides along the rim. Okay, so here we go. I like to put my finger on one spot and trace the rim. So if I go from here to here, that's 8 inches. From here to here, that's another 8 inches. And then from here to here, that's another 8 inches. 8 plus 8 plus 8. Well, I know 8 plus 8 is 16. And then I got to do plus 8 more. Whoops. 16 plus 8, 16 plus 4 is 20, and 4 more would be 24. So my perimeter equals 24, but I can't forget my units. 24 what? Say it out loud. 24 inches. We're not talking about miles or feet or centimeters here. We're talking about inches. Now, some of you might have noticed that this was 3/8, and because all of the sides were equal, that you could use multiplication. You could say 3 sides, each of them is 8 inches, and that gives you a total of 24 inches. So you can use some multiplication for perimeter if you recognize that it's really equal groups, 8, 8, and 8, that's 3/8. But that only is going to work if you are looking for the perimeter of a shape where all of the sides are the same. Because remember, multiplication is equal groups. All right, let's look at this one. How many sides does this polygon have? Show me with your fingers. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This has 5 sides. Does anybody know what a polygon with 5 sides is called? It's called a pentagon. Yeah, this one's a pentagon. And we're going to talk more about that later, but this is a pentagon. This one was a triangle, of course. All right, so my pentagon has 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to get myself set up for 5 add-ins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to tell me my perimeter. I'm adding up the distance all the way around the rim or the edge of my shape. Okay, I'm going to put my finger on one spot, and I'm going to start my traveling around the perimeter, the edge, the rim. From here to here is 7 feet. From here to here is 9 feet. From here to here is 7 feet. From here to here is 9 feet. And from here back to where I started is 7 feet. So I know I went all the way around with my finger along the rim or the edge. And now I need to add my numbers together. And there are lots of ways you could do that. You could start here and just add on each add-in. If that's the way your brain works, great. If you see something else that looks friendly, great, do it. That's the great thing about addition. We can do it in any order we want, using any strategy we want. But we have a lot of pieces, 5 pieces here, so we got to make sure we get them all. Okay? All right, let's see. I'm going to tackle Well, I know that 9 and 7 is 16. So that's 16. And here's another 7 and 9. I kind of like to put a little check mark when I've accounted for them because I don't want to leave a side out. And then I still have my 7 over here. And then I could think of, let's see, here and here, 10 and 10. So that's 20. And then 6 and 6 is 12. So 16 plus 16 is 32. If you needed to break those up even further to figure that out, go for it. And then I still have my 7 to add. So 32 plus 7 equals 39. So my perimeter, my distance all the way around this shape is 39, but I can't forget my units. Feet, 39 feet. We're measuring in feet on this one. All right. Last one. Sometimes we're given a problem that might at first seem impossible. Take a look at this one. If I said to you, third grader, your job is to find the perimeter of this rectangle. Some of you might say that's impossible. Why do you think that they would say that? Say it out loud. Yeah, some of the sides aren't labeled. How can I find the distance all the way around if I only have 2 sides labeled? Well, that's when we've got to think about what we already know. When you look at this, I hope you notice that it's a rectangle. And like I said, we're going to talk a lot more about different polygons, but this particular one is one that I know most of you will recognize as a rectangle. And what I want you to notice is if a rectangle only has 2 sides labeled, that doesn't mean we don't know how big this side is or how big this side is. Because look, if it's 12 centimeters from here to here, how big is this one? It's also 12. Yeah, this one is 12 too. On a rectangle, this side and this side are the same. And this side and this side are the same. So if this one's 8 centimeters, how long is this one? 8 centimeters. All right, I want you to pause the video and I want you to find the perimeter of this rectangle, the distance all the way around the rim or the edge of this rectangle, please. All right, third grader, I hope you did the work. Let's check your thinking. First, I'm going to decide how many sides are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see that, but I like to touch them and count and make sure. Excuse me, I kind of have hiccups a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to tell me my perimeter when I add up those sides. So here we go. I'm going to start right here. First side, 12, 8, 12, 8. And now we need to get all of those sides together. Well, I see some really friendly numbers. I see 8s and 2s, which are best 10 friends. They make 10s. 12 and 8 is 20. And here's another 12 and 8 combination of 20. So 20 plus 20 is 40. So my perimeter is 40, and what are the units? Centimeters, cms. Centimeters. 40 centimeters is the perimeter, the distance all the way around the polygon. It's time for you to go do some practice in finding the perimeter of a polygon. Remember, count your sides. Make sure you get all of the sides in your equation. Add them up carefully, looking for numbers that go together in friendly ways. Make sure you add all the pieces to get that perimeter, and always be thinking about those units. Go do your best work.